Hi, I'm Eleanor. This is Motor Matters, the favorite channel that you should be subscribed to if you want to know what's going on in the motoring market, specifically in South Africa. Citroen, do you recognize the chevrons, as they call it? Which, note, on the latest versions is almost a 3D version. Modern times, what more can I say? This is in the South African range from Citroen, the Big Daddy, the C5 Aircross. C5, there was, I don't know if it is in the current range in France, there was a C5 sedan or hatch. This is the SUV version, like you get the C3 and C3 Aircross, just to put in context. So it's the Big Daddy of the South African range. Very interesting, neat front end. You know, it's interesting. Leadfoot, I know you're behind the camera today.
I'm just sitting in abject shock and horror that you keep mispronouncing Citroen. It's Citroen. Citroen.
I'm not pretending to be French today, okay? Do you notice something? Barring one particular German manufacturer whose name I will not mention right now.
I notice a lot of things.
How come this one doesn't have a massive gaping big grille?
It does.
It's not a gaping big thing.
It's there, down there.
Yeah, but it's still it's still minimal compared to.
And you can see the massive radiator underneath.
Yeah, I know, but what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've got these big things on some cars these days. This one is almost heading towards, and a few manufacturers we've had lately have done it, where you sort of start thinking, could it be hybrid? Could it be electric?
Exactly.
Or is it
Exactly.
IC, internal combustion? So it's funny where the design directions are going.
They're queuing us for the future.
Absolutely. Now, let's just bring it round. Let's get a sort of side profile.
Just notice these functional
Air intakes, functional in the gills, as I call them.
I like them.
Yeah, look, it looks pretty good from the front or in the other guy's rear view mirror. You take the side profile now.
Yeah.
A medium SUV is a medium SUV.
Yeah.
Especially from the side.
Yeah.
So what does Citroen do? The air bumps or the air bump effect.
Yeah.
Or the little
Is that
whatever
what they
you
call
call
it?
them.
I had no idea what they call
Well, if you notice,
I just
on
thought it
some
was
of them they had them right along the side.
I thought it was just a design detail. Yeah.
It's a design feature. It's also meant to be a protective thing. It has a few functions.
Yeah.
But every Citroen has them nowadays. And every Citroen will include them nowadays, somewhere along the way. What I'm really, really chuffed about is that on this model, on the C3 Aircross, they've got the same thing, but they detailed in orange.
Ah.
Thank you! You didn't do it on this one. I really do appreciate that fact.
I thought you were going to be even more chuffed about the roof racks.
Well, at least the roof racks are in the right direction and don't whistle all day.
That was what made me very chuffed too.
Yes. Okay, now, look at this feature here. Can you get in here? Back seats. Note, 3 individual seats, which means, look here, you can adjust them individually. 1, 2, 3, or whatever you want to do.
Backwards, forwards, up,
backwards,
down.
forwards, up, down, etc., etc. Drop this one wherever you drop it. I'll get it just now.
Interestingly enough, I don't think
there you go. Look at that.
I didn't figure out how you drop it from the boot.
Okay. No, you don't.
You don't.
You don't.
Okay.
Simple answer. Okay. But there you go. Now you got the nice big armrest if you only got 2 in the back.
100%.
But that whole adjustable factor,
yes,
is to me really nice. You've
It's a
got
genuine-
aircon vents for the back
genuine
seat.
5-seater.
You've got aircon vents for the back seat.
Yep.
Notice.
And a USB.
You have got only one USB, but you've got a USB
That's all
there.
right.
At least you've got. Okay. Thank you. Important. I just want to see one other factor here. Okay. Isofix is only on the outer 2 seats. Just double checked.
Can't have more than 3 children.
Yeah. Well. Look, lazy boot.
And big.
Big, nice and big, and adjustable with the seats. Remember, you can actually steal a bit more space.
And I've got a surprise for you. Guess.
Full-size spare wheel.
Indeed.
Ha ha! Thank you, Citroen. You make my life. You make my day. How's my fake French accent going?
Terrible.
Look.
Stick to the day job.
Okay, there, nice hardboard there. You got this here. You got it all. And as you said, You've got plenty space in the boot, and you've even got a 12-volt socket there. How's that? Okay. They've thought of the details, which is important. That's what I want to say to you. Now, press button, close boot. There we go. Wait, stay here still. Something I want to show before you go. Unusual looking tail lights. But you know what? If the car's got to be visible, that's my most important feature and factor, right? And a semblance of the air intakes from the front to match at the back.
Yeah.
Just a little matching feature, can we call it?
Yeah. Talk to me about the tires, Al.
Okay, you've got 18 inches on here. Okay, what they call dual tone mag wheels these days, or alloys. You know, the two colors.
Take
Again,
it, leave it. Nah.
thank you for the fact you've got a decent profile on here,
Yeah.
which I'm sure contributes to the ride.
Yeah.
That is a feature of this car. We all know it. We all realize it.
What we didn't mention on the road
Yeah.
is just how quiet the cabin is.
Oh, absolutely.
And
The
if
insulation's brilliant.
If
Yeah.
it's not, if this is not class leading,
Yeah, it's close to it.
I'll eat your hat.
Yeah. No, you've got to give up eating my hats. I haven't got that many of them that you eat them all the time. Stop it already. You've got, I mentioned the air bumps, etc. But the other thing is note all the cladding. But wait, just come back here again.
Oh goodness.
The reason you've got so much space in the back and the big boot, look at the size of the C-pillar.
Yeah.
The whole wraparound effect and all that, whatever.
Yeah.
But there to there is pretty big, pretty long.
Yeah.
And that gives you boot space.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you've got in the C5 Aircross is, there are two models available in South Africa.
Yeah.
Feel and Shine. Don't know where they come with these names, but whatever, that's not
French.
important. That's French, yeah.
Ooh,
Under
joy
the
de
bonnet,
vie.
there's no choice.
Yeah.
1.6 four-cylinder turbo petrol.
Yeah.
121 kilowatts, 240 newton meters.
Yeah.
6-speed torque converter auto,
Yeah.
front wheel.
Yeah.
Hey, it matches, what, 70% of this market category?
Safe, comfortable recipe.
Absolutely. It's got more than enough power for what you want,
Yeah.
for the type of car. The gearbox is beautifully matched.
Yeah.
You've got paddles if you really want. You've got a sport mode if you really want. I'm going to say this is a car, do you actually need it? Either of those two, sport or paddles.
Well, the pedals, I couldn't fathom out.
Yeah.
They have a mind of their own until you
Okay.
put it in full manual mode.
Right,
Then they work beautifully.
fair enough. But look, to me, I don't know. You know, I'd never use those things anyway. Very, very seldom. Put me on a racetrack or put me in a genuine two-seater sports car through my twisties to hearties. Yes, I'll play with pedals.
Sure.
That's where it ends with me. Not important. Hey, let's see it on the road. Let's check it out inside. All right, behind the wheel in the Aircross now, the C5 Aircross. Lead foot driving. I've got to hang on for dear life as always. But the big thing with this car.
Hanging on for dear life is not necessary in this
Yeah.
car, Alan,
Yeah.
because the ride on it is just sublime.
It
I
is.
mean,
This-
Citroen referred to it as an air carpet.
Yeah, the hydraulic suspension.
And
They
whatever they
perfected over the years.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going back to the days of the D5 Plus, you know, which
Yeah.
I mentioned is an incredibly comfortable car. This one, the modern version of it,
Yeah.
the SUV version.
Exactly,
And
it is. I mean, you say the SUV version, the space in the back, you'll see it properly in a few moments, but it's stupendous, it's massive.
No,
It really is a big car. It's smooth, it's comfortable.
and it's compact from the outside. And,
Yeah.
and this is the car that, if you're going from A to B in it, you get in it, you get from A, you go to B, you kind of forget that you've done the journey because it's just effortless.
Well, you're going
comfortable.
to arrive relaxed.
Exactly,
That's the point.
exactly.
The 121 kilowatts, 240 newton meters out of the 1.6 turbo. It's good. It's not massive. It's got a sport mode. I don't know if you used it. I didn't really bother because, quite honestly,
yeah.
it's just not that car.
No, that's exactly it. This
It's
is
not.
this is. I don't want to box it, but this is an old man's comfort car. But
Yeah.
it has all the young man's tech.
Oh, it's got, yeah, and especially considering we're in the Shine version, so it's got all the tech, all the safety tech, all the safety equipment, blind spot monitoring, and it's got the list.
Well, at 680,000 rand, one would expect that.
Well, you get the fuel version at 633.
Correct. Slightly
Almost
less.
exactly 50k cheaper.
Slightly less safety tech.
A little bit less safety tech. You don't get the panoramic roof, for example. I think that's the one big thing you do lose out. Can I call it that?
I can live without that.
Yeah, well, that's one of those you either like or you don't, you want or you don't, your choice. But now the other thing, I want to go back to the comfort factor.
This is a sleeper. This is a sleeper car.
Yeah.
This is one of those that
Yeah.
I can see a lot of people, once they've bought one, absolutely loving it.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Purely from the fact that you get into the car and you get out and you're just the same as when you got in. There's no effort involved in driving it.
The challenge in marketing this car in my book is getting somebody to actually get into it.
Well, that's the key. Once,
Yeah.
and our, the point for me is that if you've got 680 grand to
Yeah.
spend on a car and you're looking around, if you don't look at this, I think you're really missing an opportunity to see what is actually available out there in terms of ride comfort. That you don't necessarily have to have an SUV that gives you a wallowy, shallowy, horrible, bumpy, uncomfortable ride.
Well, I've got to tell you something. We've been harping on about the hydraulic suspension, but there's another side to that. I took it through to Harties,
Yes.
through my twisties, as I call them.
Yes.
There's that nice little section. This thing sits on the road
Absolutely. It's surprisingly
better than many in the category.
It's surprisingly grippy. And
with no limited body roll, blah blah blah.
Yeah, completely unexpected. Yeah.
You keep thinking, wow, with this wallowy effect you get when you're cruising on the highway, and I'm using the word reservedly, okay?
Yeah.
But you get that wallowy ride, and yet it grips when you want to put it through a couple of bends.
No, absolutely. I was, again, for me, it's always the direction changes, and I go on about it to a certain extent. But if you're not in a two-seater sports car, direction changes generally present a challenge.
Correct.
And this car, it's kind of a bit like the electric Jag, with its weight. Wasn't expecting it, but the weight beds the car down, and if you're careful about direction changes, it handles them beautifully.
No, it took those twisties really nicely.
Whereas on this one, it does all that and sucks up all the bumps and lumps, and you just
the other
enjoy
thing
the experience.
From the launch very recently that I was on, they mentioned, and I've got to and this will be my last point here, the comfort. There's also an extra layer of foam in the seats.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, because it's French. Okay, I think it's an extra 15 mil layer of foam.
I knew there was something French that I was missing on this car.
That
now we know what it is.
Total comfort factor.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check it out on the inside in a few moments.
Go.
Right behind the wheel, there's a couple of things I've got to show you. Typically French again. How do you like this little steering wheel?
And
much smaller than many others.
Flat top there.
A flat top, flat bottom.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to comment on something here. I mean, I really like it. It's got the controls. It's got things. I don't know. To me,
you went straight there. You went straight
what?
there.
I suppose you were
It's unbelievable.
it was going to be your picky point as well, right?
It's unworkable. I have no idea.
Forget the workable or unworkable. This is 20 years ago. There's enough space for those buttons there. Make space.
Yeah. So we're talking about the cruise control.
The cruise control stalk.
It's a mystery,
Yeah.
unfathomable to the universe, and that, I suppose, is a bit of Frenchness about this car.
Yeah. Okay. Let's call it the French quirk. Okay.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Did you ever get it to work?
I'd never. You know me. I don't generally use cruise control. I don't like it.
I use it often.
I don't like it.
I got it to work
okay.
eventually, and I think I figured it out. And then as soon as I thought I figured it out, it changed its mind.
Okay, now you've got the full digital dashboard. I'm not going to show you too much detail, but as usual, now look here.
It's one of the better ones.
It's very nice. The only thing I can never find on the Peugeot and Citroen models is your average fuel consumption. I don't know. I just struggle to find.
No, I also these three dots here tell me that there's another menu behind.
Yeah, I know, but I've just always struggled. Okay,
I could not get to that.
Right. So anyhow, look, I can tell you now, this thing runs it in general driving. You're going to do about the 8 liters per 100.
Well, they claim 7.9 on the highway. I was getting considerably less than that.
No. On the highway, you can do upper 6s if you're just cruising.
Yeah,
but I'm talking overall, live with a car.
Yeah.
You're going to do 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Give or take.
Very much in the ballpark. Everyone gives you the same. Okay, let's look at the screen here. Nice big screen. I do not like, I'm sorry, that you've got to come here to operate your aircon.
Yes, no manual controls. For
No
your
manual
aircon.
controls for your
But
ventilation functions and aircon functions. But yes,
what they've done,
Yeah.
which is, I think, if you're going to go this route and have electronic controls for your digital controls, as they call it, for your aircon, do what Citroen have done, and then you can just access it by pushing that button.
yes,
and there it is.
Yeah,
and
look,
then you can do everything you
because
need
look,
to
you've got full navigation
so simple.
as standard, not Android, whatever requirement.
Yes.
So as Leadfoot just said, at least there is a shortcut to get to that, as
Straight
opposed
away.
to menu on the screen.
Oh,
yeah.
are you sure you want to go to aircon?
There's the.
You don't want to go to seat controls instead?
So so at least they've got good buttons for shortcuts as opposed to a menu button and whatever.
Exactly.
Good point.
Yeah.
I'll go with you on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, just as a point, it goes all the way down to 14
as
degrees.
low. Yeah. Okay. Now the other thing, just the reverse camera, the rear view, as you'd expect, as well as an overhead view. So that's what you want. More than good enough. I'm happy with that. Okay. You've got, of course, your cell phone space here. Does it have inductive charging?
It does not.
Okay. And does it have wireless Android or not?
It does not.
Okay. You see, I leave these things to you. This is your department.
I didn't find it.
I also didn't find it. Okay. But what you do have that's nice is two USBs over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I do like, and a 12 volt.
And a 12 volt.
Strangely, it looks like it should have, but there isn't a cover that comes across here. I found that quite strange.
I also thought there would be one.
Yeah, it looks. That
It
looks
almost
like it's a cover.
Yeah.
I mean, this is South Africa. Let me not say
matter.
anymore.
Yeah.
I got criticised by somebody recently for being negative about South Africa.
No, really.
Okay.
Just going to put it in the park. Shut
Yeah,
it up.
this gear shift is lovely.
We've seen that before.
We've seen it before. The drive mode, we've seen
that
all
before.
this before. The engine stop start, slightly unusual spot there.
Yes.
As opposed to there or there. But at least.
I quite like it because you can always see where it is.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so that covers all of that.
I like-
you've
I
got,
like this,
You've
yeah.
got this, which has got an extra little thing there. And it's massive. Gee, it's deep and massive, okay?
It is huge. You
Yeah.
get a 2-litre Coke bottle in there.
Okay. I'm surprised there isn't an extra USB in there, but anyway, not important. Right, what is interesting, do you notice on the door, can you just pick up on the door? This is a typical Citroen feature on all the Citroens, little bumps.
Yeah.
Which is a nice feature. And you've got this, they did it on the Cactus a while back, this almost suitcase effect on the over there.
It's not a suitcase, Alan. It's luggage.
Excuse me?
Luggage.
Oh, luggage, yeah.
Okay. So now,
Yeah,
if you,
so you've got all of those things, okay?
yeah.
Something I've got to tell you that we picked up on this test was when Mrs. R wanted to drive this car. Now, we all know I'm vertically challenged. You're not much better than me. And
I'm 5'10". I'll have you
Okay,
know. No
well.
vertical challenges here.
okay, the Mrs. is a little bit more vertically challenged than I am. She found this car, the settings for the driver's seat, that she could not get her right position, and she doesn't like a dashboard that sits up there that she has to crane to get over, and found the seat possibly didn't move high enough for her, etc., etc. Why I'm mentioning this, I like the effect of being ensconced in a car. Now, I know it's not a sports car, but it gives you that sports car feel again, right? Which is important to me. However, this goes to what I always say to people. If you contact me, or Leadfoot, if you trust him, and say, give me a short list of cars in this category, there are 3 or 4 or even 5 that we could recommend. Am I correct? This category, this kind of price bracket.
Yes. Yes.
And all of them are good cars, and all of them we could honestly recommend with all good conscience.
Yes.
And I always say to people, once you've got your shortlist, go and drive all of them,
Yes.
preferably back to as close together as you can,
Because of exactly this.
because of things like that. Or alternatively, I use the terminology, one of them just says, hello, this is your car. It's got a lot to do with just how comfortable you are. You end up behind the wheel.
All we can do is just give you our opinion on what
Yeah.
we think is
But this is a great example, and that's why I'm
worthy of your hard-earned
spending a bit of time mentioning it to you,
Yeah, no, exactly that.
that you've got to just be aware of it.
Humour
It's
me
one of
for
those
a second.
things.
Turn
Yes.
turn the car on.
Yeah?
Take the handbrake off.
Yes.
Open the door. Put the handbrake on, and it shuts it up.
And in
You
French,
know how long it took me to figure that out?
well, knowing you, it would have taken you half an hour. It took me a couple of seconds.
I was like, okay, so it's moaning about the handbrake.
Yes.
Do not.
No, excuse me. No.
not open the door with the engine on without the handbrake
Whoa. What handbrake?
Well, the automatic park
The
brake.
electronic parking brake.
goodness sake.
Please. Okay, you're supposed to be the tech fundi of the two of us,
Auto
and you're 50
handbrake.
years behind the times on that.
I don't ever use handbrakes unless
Neither
it's
do
in
I.
a turn, and because it's a
Neither
good
do I,
old-fashioned
but
manual
it's
one,
not
and I need
the
to
point.
get around a corner.
You
really
are
quickly.
supposed to be the tech guy of the two of us, and you got that wrong.
We're in trouble.
You're in big trouble.
Okay, so
Right.
that for me is just the last
Yeah.
little.
Okay. As I mentioned on the road, the comfort of these seats is fantastic.
And it's got
The spec, the safety, we've gone through all of that. You've got the
Obligatory.
panoramic roof.
and that's just dust from the.
Yeah,
from there we
but
go.
it's got the nice big panoramic roof. That's the
We
point.
all do
and
these days.
high-felt thunderstorms, unfortunately, look at that.
Dust.
Please don't criticize me again that I should have washed the car before doing this video.
We're not allowed to
Okay.
wash the cars
We are told we shouldn't unless it's an emergency.
unless it's an emergency.
Yeah. So just get that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have said so many times in my videos, if I was buying a car for myself, I don't want the same car as 10 of my neighbors.
Yeah.
I want to be different. And how more different can you be than the French? Because they are not just different as in nobody else buys them. They look different, they feel different, etc.
Oh.
And this is such a classic example, isn't it?
It's a sleeper car. It's one of those that I think
100%.
People who buy these are going to be intelligent people. They're going to be people who understand.
So you mean I would buy one, but we'd have
God,
to
what
think
have
about
I
whether
just-
you would?
What have I just said? Who understand comfort and
You
who
heard
really
that,
want
didn't
to
you?
get from A. I'm ignoring it. Who really want to get from A to B from the point of view of getting from A to B as comfortably as possible.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily as fast as
Yeah.
possible, not
No,
necessarily
no.
as flash as everybody as possible, but certainly when you get out, you're going to have
You're
that
fresh,
same,
you're...
your French coiffure is going to be maintained to the same degree as what it was when
Yeah.
you got in the first place. And that for me is what this car is particularly
Okay, you
about.
do get a 6-year, 150,000k warranty.
Which is great.
You get I think it's a 5-year, 90,000k service plan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's competitive with everything on the market.
Mm-hmm.
It's even price competitive, barring the Chinese brands, which are we're not going to talk about here because they're a different category and a different ball game. Let's just leave it there. But the European and Korean brands, they're now on a par.
Absolutely.
You know what? You want a car of this type?
It's
I would not leave this off my shortlist to go and drive.
I absolutely insist that you put it on your shortlist to drive, even if you don't buy one. It's just to
Go and experience
experience
it.
the ride quality.
Correct.
And just see what's
And then
what
compare
possible-
the others you
Yes,
think you're going to buy
exactly.
against that.
Exactly. And all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're thinking, I'm going to spend a lot of time in my car.
Yeah?
Do I want to be comfortable? Do I want to be fast? What is it that I actually want? And you may be surprised.
100%. And on that point, for Manor Matters, he's Leadfoot behind the camera. I'm Eleanor. See you next time.